Hello, hello, hello. Derek and I are back for week 12 MLS Fantasy Outlook. This week I got 87 points and a 6-point bench sub from Alex because Mauro Diaz didn't want to play. I captained Jervinko as most people did, so I didn't get hurt that bad because pretty much everybody captained Jervinko, so we all had the same thing. But anyways, there is not that much movement in the top 5 of the Orlando City Fan TV League. Chad Arnett and Jose Holiday, 4th and 5th, both dropped, and ZSK jumped to 3rd. Cody Weber and Chris Dustin have been in 1st and 2nd for probably about 3 or 4 weeks. Down to the honorable mentions, I'm at 8. I didn't move. Chris Whalen is right behind me at 9. He didn't move. My friend Aaron from Rev Rumors had a huge week after using his wild card and scored 120, was the league high, and that jumped him into the top 10. He had really stumbled out of the gate, and he's probably moving on up after that wild card. I think he might have captained Bradley Wright Phillips too, so that might explain there. Derek, the show host, is way down here at 15. And I am 76 points ahead of them on the season. Take that, Derek, because I know you like to banter. Josh Spivey's got a green arrow at 18 and climbed inside the top 20 for the first time. He had an 84-point week. Keep going down the list here. Got a bunch of red arrows here in the 20s. That's not the two good guys. Sucker for City Wafer Productions up to 32. DeGuru got a green arrow up to 35. Westkirk dropped again down to 38, and after that, you're in no man's land. So week 12 is a double game week, Orlando City and Philadelphia only. And other than that, I got nothing for you. So, Derek, the floor is yours.
I was at an absolute loss for words for last week. I ended up with 76 and ended up with 68 after -8. I mean, if I had to do it again, if I had to do the same picks again, I probably would, because who else did I add? 3 of my picks worked out. I forgot who I took the 4th transfer for, but Keegan Rosenberry got 7. Sasha Kleshin got 14. Oh, it was David Villa. Yeah, David Villa and David Accam just did not work out. Whatever the hell happened in New York City last week, you can go ahead and laugh at that. Any team that loses 7-0 at home in a rivalry game should probably just stop playing soccer. But yeah, him and David Accam combined for 5 points last week because Patrick Vieira decided to put up a 4th division lineup against Toronto and still somehow got a draw. And then David Accam got discoed for the second game. So it's whatever. But if I had to do the same picks again, I probably would, because both of them had good matchups and both of them were expected to score high points, and that just didn't work out. Same thing with the Giovinco captain. He was the obvious captain pick for this week. The obvious captain pick. You have 2 home games. You have the best player in MLS, and you have 2 defenses that aren't exactly dominant. Yeah, Giovinco did nothing. I don't know what to say, guys. I really don't. I mean, if it explains anything, my 3 defenders outscored my 3 forwards.
Mine too.
And what's funny, my defenders scored more goals too.
Yeah, that Schoberg goal was nice.
Yep. 21 points for my defenders, 18 for my forwards. That's not exactly a recipe for fantasy success, but either way, I gotta find a way for this team to get out of the slump they're in. Sam, I'm gonna catch up to you. Yeah, like you said, there's a double game week 12. It is just Orlando and Philadelphia. That's it. Orlando is at home versus Philadelphia and away at NYC. And Philadelphia is at us, and they're at Colorado on the 28th.
Yep.
I really, really don't like this double game week, but there's going to be someone that has 8 players from this double game week and get like 130 points. Just watch it happen. Because I really don't like this, because Orlando, we have a bye week next week, and Philadelphia is just really not that good for attacking options unless you're looking at CJ Sapong, who is kind of cooled off as far as the fantasy points go. So that being said, as far as Orlando goes, I'm waiting until our lineup comes up for like the 8th time this season. We are the first game, so we'll get to see our lineup before the transfers end, which is Wednesday at 7:30. By the way, I still have Tommy Redding on my squad, so hopefully he'll play. But as far as this goes, I sort of like Joe Bendick. He's putting up some decent numbers. He had 5 points against Montreal, which is really good for a keeper without a clean sheet. Really good. So I think he had a lot of saves. I haven't checked the bonus points on that, but still, 5 points for Joe Bendick is really good. So he's a decent option, especially since we're at home and we've already shut out New York this year. Other than that, I mean, I'm not really looking at any other Orlando players except for Kaká, and I'm really only looking at Kaká if Diego Valeri is out.
Bendick got 6 saves for 2 points and a defending bonus for 1 point.
So that'll count for the other 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, Diego Valeri actually left Portland's game in the 85th minute with an injury. So just beware of that if you have him. Because I'm highly thinking about Kaká, but I don't think he's going to be a 180-minute player. Adrian Heath may make him a 180-minute player, but 150 is more realistic, honestly. Same thing with Kevin Molino. There was a reason he didn't play on Saturday. It's because he's probably going to play both games this week. But once again, 150 is probably more realistic than 180. A player I would love to see on your fantasy team is it's actually Carlos Rivas if he starts, but if he doesn't start, he's not an option. It's pretty much whoever starts there is a better option. Then you got Kyle Aaron, who's obviously a fantasy option. The dude just knows how to score goals. 13 points last game. And a double game week against teams he scored against? Yeah, why not? I mean, he's got that New York City FC game. You know how he loves to score against NYCFC.
Loves it.
So I'm thinking about that for a Rudy switch up, but it's really whatever at this point. As far as Philadelphia goes, the obvious pick is Keegan Rosenberry, who is absolutely playing out of his mind right back for Philadelphia. I'm considering him highly in the Rookie of the Year race because he's faced some of the best players in MLS and has not looked out of place at all. Very, very composed for a rookie. So just remember they have 2 away games, though, so I'm not really going to load up on Philadelphia players. And if you look at their attackers, they're not really good at chance creating. They're not really good at bonus points. Unless they score, they're not really good at much else. So just beware that if you really, really want to load up on Philadelphia players. I'm probably more looking at single gaming players that are playing in week 13. So, and an obvious pick for me is Giovanni Dos Santos of LA. Yeah, I know he didn't score last week, but dude's been on fire for like the past 5 weeks.
And he plays next week.
Yeah, so I mean, because I don't have my wild card, I'm looking at players that are playing in week 13, whether it's a home game or not. And then I'm looking ahead of time. You guys also got to look at like the Copa America rosters, the Euro rosters. Just don't add players that are on there.
Yeah, Philly's going to lose Andre Blake.
I mean, exactly. Andre Blake's gone to Jamaica. Do I really, really want Andre Blake? Hell yes, I do. Am I going to add him? No, because he's gone I think he's gone now for Copa America. That starts in 2 weeks. But, I mean, there are definitely a lot of options. Then you look ahead. You look at the double game weeks. You got week 15. You got double game weeks. You could add like a Brian Rowe as your goalkeeper if you really wanted to. You could add Nick Raimondo as your goalkeeper. They both play week 13, and they have that double game week in week 15. So it's always just looking ahead. It's always being aware of the Copa America rosters and the Euro rosters because those are going to screw you for nothing.
I thought Kennedy came back for LA.
He did, but Brian Rowe started yesterday.
He just came back and then didn't play good and got benched?
Yeah, I have no idea why Dan Kennedy starts. I could ask my LA people, see what they think.
Anyway, okay, well, I'm going to add Brian Rowe then.
I mean, I like Brian Rowe. But Didier Drogba should be back. They're playing at home, so no turf issue. Ha ha, Montreal, we beat you. So David Collins back from his disco suspension. He's always a good option.
Chicago's off next week, though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not transferring anyone out on home games. You usually don't transfer people out on home games. And you don't transfer people out on double game weeks.
Gotcha.
So I like Akon this week because he's at home. And Portland's not exactly playing the greatest defense right now. Or all this season. They don't have a clean sheet this season. This was a team that allowed 39 goals last year. They were one of the top defenses in MLS. They don't have a clean sheet. We have more clean sheets than them. Our defense sucks.
Fair enough.
So I'm really not sure what to say about that. But if you're going clean sheet hunting, which by the way is a terrible MLS fantasy, hunting, you're going to lose.
Which is a terrible MLS idea. Okay.
You're going to go goal hunting, but Colorado is probably the only team you could say week in, week out has a chance at clean sheets. Because they're just absolutely playing out of their mind. 27 points in 13 games. They had 33 points all of last season. This is a team that is playing just out of their mind and is a contender in the Western Conference. And they're at home versus Philadelphia. I love their team for clean sheet picks this week, but they don't play next week, so don't get crazy with it. I'm trying to think. I have a Houston player next week. Kansas City loses at home again, so I'm not really sure what to think of them, but they do play next week. They're just out of it fantasy-wise. I'm not really sure what to.
Yeah, I'm like holding on to Phil Halbert just for next week, and then I'm going to dump him.
Yeah, if you still have Benny Fowhaber, you might as well keep him because he's at home. And he plays. Yep. I only dropped him because Sasha Klester was on a double game week, and I'd rather have Klester, and that worked out great.
Yeah, I got both.
So.
Anyway, all right.
But most of these teams at home, they're off next week, unless you really want Columbus players.
Well, there's only 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 teams next week.
Yeah, it's a giant pain in the ass. It's really pick your poison. Do you want better players, or do you want players that play in week 13? Because I don't like a lot of these players next week. I mean, the home teams for next week are Philadelphia, DC United, Portland, NYC, Dallas, and LA.
The last two are nice.
Yeah, but the first four are like, what the hell?
Yeah. And if Valeri's injured, that's really putting a wrench in some people's plans.
I mean, DC United is fantasy useless.
Yeah.
NYC is, well.
I think Bill Hemid's coming back next week, though.
Yeah, I heard that Hamid was supposed to be in 18 yesterday, but was not.
Yeah, I think he's coming back next week.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But, I mean,
all right.
I like RSL players, even though they're on the road in week 13. Yura Sisian's playing really good right now. I like their defense. I like Ramondo. Just keep that big bye week in mention when you do your transfers.
All right. And do you have any other, like, is there anybody that, like, you feel you need to have in your lineup this week just so you don't have to do it next week?
Really, no, but don't take a -4 on a defender.
Okay.
Yeah, because how many defenders score more than 4 points?
Not very many.
If you're taking a -4, it needs to be on a midfielder or an attacker. Use your freebies on the defenders because they are less likely to score 4 points. So.
All right. Well, if that's all you got, we got 2. We're starting a new segment at the end of every episode, and we're calling it the name game. And how it goes is I say name, and Derek answers his thoughts in 1 sentence or less. And so this week we had 2, and we've already talked about both of them, but just for the sake of the segment, the first one is Tommy Redding.
Wait till the lineup comes out.
And the second one is Kevin Molino.
Same thing, but he's more likely to play.
Okay, and then I'll just run through a couple just for fun. And what Joe's goalkeeper, Joe Sanders, NYC.
They just gave up 7 goals at home.
Okay, fair enough. Midfielders. Well, I'm trying to get people who are playing next week. You know what I mean?
I know, but at this point, I'd rather have like a Brian Rowe or Nick Romano. It's just you can't give up 7 goals at home and expect to be a fantasy option the next week.
Okay, midfield. I'm gonna ask about two Dallas midfielders. Castillo first.
Castillo is maddening, so
Maddening.
I know he scored last week, but he's more of an option when Diaz doesn't play.
Okay, and Barrios.
Yes, because at his price point and in that offense, he's always good for something. Diaz needs to hook up with him, especially since Arudi's playing like crap. So
My last midfield question, Higuain.
Federico from Columbus.
Yep. Plays next week. Had
That's
6 versus Toronto last week.
that's a tough one. I just feel like there are better options, but he does play next week. So if
Okay.
you want the guaranteed like week 13 game, why not? But they're
All
playing.
right. And defenders. What about Birnbaum?
Yes. Yes.
And okay. And what about Parkhurst?
No.
And last one for somebody who plays next week, Bessler.
Matt Beasler.
Yeah.
He's too expensive to not be getting clean sheets.
Okay. And then that leaves us forwards, really limited options for next week. And this, what about Dwyer?
Didn't he score yesterday? Think he did.
I don't know.
Yeah, he scored this past week.
And then of the LA guys, you say you prefer Dos Santos.
Yeah, because Keane's going off to Euros, I believe.
And then what about anybody who plays up top for Columbus? I don't even know any of these dudes' names.
Anyone for Columbus up top?
Yeah, for next week because they play.
No.
So you're literally I can't even name them. So Kamara or Casey?
No.
No. All right. Well,
I'd rather
that
own Sabarillo.
but
I'd rather own Sabarillo, and I hate DC United attackers.
all right, there you go. So that's it for the end of the segment. That's it for the name game. I'll be trying to get more names every week as it goes, trying to build up this little end part of the video, just something unique, something that makes it quick and easy. So, anyways, that's all for our time. Thank you again, Derek, as usual. Good luck. Good luck this week. And
guys, I hate you all if you're ahead of me.
all right, that's it for our time. Thank you for your guys' time. Peace out.